What's going on, everybody? We're here live. Welcome to a brand new Poker Live podcast. My name's Joey Grim1, aka Chicago Joey, coming to you from a on-location setup here in Southern California. We got these new lights. We got this thing pointed at my face, so the camera's good, but I can't look at the screen because it's down here. Joined today on the podcast by a young man who is one of the most GTO guys I know, one of the hardest working kids I know, ambitious, driven. Great friend, great guy overall, and he's been someone that I've known now for a couple years. He's been my wizard assistant. I call him my wizard assistant. I mean, actual name we should call him or not, but I call him my wizard assistant. He helps me out with the Empire, with what I do with GTO Club, with content, with pretty much everything. We brainstorm a lot. He's a super smart kid. He's got his own YouTube channel where he's putting out a lot of videos on there, a lot of video blogs, and he just dropped out of law school. We didn't drop out. He technically took a half a year off, but I'm excited to have him on. I've been telling him we should record one of our conversations that we normally have podcast. So now here we are making a podcast. We're joined by my buddy, my amigo, my puppy, Jonah Vella. What's up, Jonah? Welcome to the podcast officially, my friend.
God, man, what an intro. Thank you for having me on. It's obviously a huge honor for me to be here after a couple of years knowing you. So I'm excited, man. Hopefully our connection holds.
Guys, I'm on a new setup right now, so I'm gonna assume that it is my computer that's lagging, unfortunately, right now. So we're gonna have to figure out a situation for this. But Jonah, did you hear what I said there?
I heard the intro. Did you hear me respond to your intro?
No, I didn't hear the intro. I don't know what's happening here with this on-location setup. I might need to change to the non-GTO webcam. Look at this. Oh, I mean, fuck it, whatever. Roll with this. We gotta roll with this. We'll see if this works better.
Let's go. Let's roll with it. Let's do it. Yeah, I heard your intro, man, and obviously I'm super humbled, and I'm honored to be on your show finally. Took you a while, man. Took you a while to invite me, but I like the peel. I like the sweat. So let's go.
Yeah, I mean, we only talk to each other every single day, so I figured why not actually have you officially on a podcast here and sort of make some magic happen between us.
Exactly, man. I'm excited. I'm curious to see how this conversation will play out on a podcast, as opposed, because we, like you said, we do talk every single day, and we have for over a year now talked for every single day. So I'm excited. to see how this.
We've been talking every single day for a year. What are you talking about, man? Every single day for a year? No, it's definitely not true.
Close to every single day. But you're right. Not 100% true. You're right. You got me there. Come on, kid. Call my bluffs already.
And so I'm saying you can't fucking lie to people, man. I mean, you're going to be on the pod, kid. You got to be honest with them. You tell people we talk every day, they're going to think we talk every day. We don't talk every day. We talk like every couple days, most days, right?
Most days is definitely the term.
Okay, I like that better. So what are you in one of those Maltese dungeons right now where they got lighting on half the side of the room, or what's happening over there, buddy?
Yeah, so the setup almost, well, it's funny because I always complain about Maltese Wi-Fi. I always complain, but it's been great for the past couple of weeks. And of course, the whole Wi-Fi system crashes on me an hour before the podcast. So I had to get into my car and drive off to my dad's place to use his system. So now we're in a different setup. My previous setup had more GTO lighting, but now I've got one of these lamps here pointing at me, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go blind by the end of it. But
it happens.
You got to do it, man. You can't be letting big puppy down.
Well, okay, give people a little rundown on you, man. Obviously, I know a lot about you. Why don't you tell people? Give them because every time I do a podcast with one of my friends, they always start acting weird. Because I start asking a question, and then instead of it being like a regular conversation we have, they're gonna go into this 5-minute answer because they think all of a sudden it's like an interview when it's not an interview, it's a fucking conversation, which you know that. So give the people a little bit of rundown on yourself. Tell them about you. Tell them how you're one of the most hardest working kids I know. So go ahead, tell them a little bit about you, buddy.
Well, first of all, thank you, and I owe a lot of the hard work and the work ethic to you, because you've definitely ingrained that in me over the last couple of conversations that we have on most days. But yeah, I'm 21 years old. I'm from Malta, which, for those of you who don't know, is a small island in the middle of the Mediterranean in Europe, and they're just confused, Joey, with the whole geography thing. And yeah, so I'm officially a law student at the University of Malta. And around a year ago, I got into content creation, specifically videos, which I guess we'll get into later on as to how that developed. And then for the past, since August of 2016, I've been Joey's wizard assistant, which is the role he has given me. And I haven't complained. I haven't complained about the title, man. I've kind of embraced it. In the beginning, I was kind of like, wizard, like, what is that? What do you mean, Joey? What do I do? What does a wizard do? And but now I've kind of owned up to it, and I like it. So that's my spiel, man. It's pretty short. Like that's all I do.
Is that what you would, if you're at so if you're telling me if you're out at a Maltese bar and you see an señorita, you say, and she says, hey, what do you do? That's what you're gonna tell her what you do.
Oh no, man! Because every time I go for I'm a wizard assistant, everyone goes, whoa, you're what? You're a wizard? Isn't that just in the Harry Potter movies? So no, I mean, yeah, that's what I am. I'm a university student officially, and I make video content, and I'm aspiring to become a professional filmmaker. And right now, I'm just enjoying learning a lot from you and from other members of your GTO club, which I'm honored to be a part of. And I guess you mentioned how I'm a hardworking kid, which which wasn't always the case. I feel like over the last couple of months, I've been improving on that front, and I owe it to you. I guess it's kind of hard to have conversations with you on most days, and hearing you talk about how you're putting in these 16-hour days, these 17-hour days, these 15-hour days, and then when you started vlogging it as well, I actually saw you put in the hours, and I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, I thought I worked hard, putting in my 8-hour editing sessions, for my YouTube videos. And then I was like, what am I doing with the other 8 hours? And then, you start narrowing it down to a lot of BS that I can just put off and put in more work. So I definitely owe a lot of that to you. So thank you.
You're welcome, my friend. I'm trying to better the lighting situation here because I can't use my regular webcam. But yeah, man, I definitely appreciate that. I mean, I feel like you were still always a hardworking kid. You're like most people out there. If you work hard, your hard work is kind of for a while, and even still now. And if it's a work in progress for both of us, it's always like it's not really focused hard work. It's more just like hard work, but very like scattered, unfocused, and unsure of exactly what to spend that time on. Working hard. And I think that's what a lot of people have trouble with, is that when they want to work at something, they have a very hard time figuring out, okay, what should I do? They start doing something, they do it for like 6 hours, and then they did something they did in 6 hours, they could have got done in an hour. And I think that's what sort of separates people, is that there are certain people who can just focus on that one thing and work really hard at it for hours and be extremely efficient at it, learn a lot at it, progress a lot at it. And I think that's at a point you're getting at now, is where you're becoming a lot more specified in your hard work. You're able to figure out a focus. You're able to build these systems that we've kind of been building together for what we do. And yeah, I feel like right now you're man, when I was 21, dude, holy moly, yeah. Poppy, holy moly. Remember when I was 21? I can't even remember how, man, I was out of line. I
bet a lot of TOS was being broken back in the day. For sure, but yeah, to follow up on what you said, because I think it's really interesting. You're definitely right, and I think a gift and a curse that me and you share is that we have different passions, and our mind. I don't know. Maybe it's like we're not capable of focusing on one specific thing, and that's a gift and a curse, because that means we're capable of doing multiple things at a time. But then it all comes down to like, all right, how much are we putting into this one thing, and how much is that one thing contributing to our overall goal and long-term values and what we actually believe in. So that's what me and you are constantly trying to hack and trying to figure out. And for sure, like for me, it wasn't always the case with focus.
So wait, you know what I'm going to say about that, right?
About what I just said? God, man, I can only imagine.
Now the pressure's on, because I ask you these questions all the time when we're by ourselves.
Oh God, don't put me in the spot. Joey has Joey. All right, Joey. You gotta explain. Joey has a spot. He has a corner that he puts me in, because I say a lot of things sometimes that, well, sometimes I let my words go on a little bit longer than I should, and I end up saying things that later on I regret, because Joey ends up using those words. And I mean, listen, I'm supposed to be the law student here, but I'm pretty sure Joey in some other life went to law school as well, because he puts me in this freaking corner, and then it's Muhammad Ali on me, and now it's live. So okay, you got the main arena today, Joey. So go ahead. I'm ready to take on the jab.
Put you in the corner like Muhammad Ali.
I think so, man. That's what it feels like.
Is that what you said? All right. So you just said something that we've been talking about a lot. You said the gift and a curse, right? It's a gift and a curse that that we can do a lot of things, but it's hard to focus on one thing.
Exactly. Correct.
So you know what I'm going to say about that is that I feel like that is like very negative self-talk and sort of like an excuse. And that's something that I think that we maybe 7-8 months ago we would say that often, but now I think that that's sort of
acting on it.
A crutch. That's sort of an excuse that we say because we find it hard to focus. So instead of just overcoming that challenge to focus, we're just like, we're these sort of brains that we can't focus on one thing because we always got to be doing 3 things, or we're always thinking about doing all these things. Whereas the actual challenge is overcoming that and being able to focus on that one thing. Especially for myself, I think back to playing poker, I was always able to focus on just poker. So now when it comes to doing a couple different things, I think it comes down to more about framing those things out in your minds rather than saying, oh, like we just can't do this because we're gifted, but we're also cursed in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I think that was like a big realization that you led me to last week, where we were talking about something, and you're right. Like a couple of months ago, we would have just accepted the fact that, oh, well, we're just like this, so we just can't do that because we are like this. We were born this way, so we can't fight it. We can't challenge what we're like. But now it's like the way we frame things, and the way I think it all started when we started breaking things down into our long-term visions and then building systems based on our vision. That's kind of, I think, what led to this realization.
Why don't you tell people a little bit about what else you enjoy doing, Poppy? So obviously you enjoy making videos, you enjoy studying about film, studying about camera, studying about lenses. You're also, you're a good friend, you're a good family guy. I think, I don't know, maybe not the family guy part, but it seems like you very much care about your friends, you care about the people around you. So why don't you tell people a little bit about that aspect of you?
About caring about others?
Yeah, Jonah, about being a caring person.
Yeah, this is something that you're probably the first person that's brought this up about me the other day when we went down our deep conversation. That's actually for you guys who want to find out about what our minds are capable of when we go deep. Me and Joey for like 6 hours on the phone. It's actually on his GTO Thoughts podcast. That's probably somewhere scattered across the channel. So Joey pointed out. He said, one of your best characteristics is that you care about people. I was like, interesting. Never thought about that specifically. Ooh, I like that lighting. I like that lighting.
Go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, so obviously I do care about people, and I find a lot of value in socializing with people and being social. And I think part of that is because I try to always give value to people, and I try to help out in a lot of situations because I genuinely derive pleasure from that.
Is that the answer?
That's the answer. Yeah, I care about people. I don't know. It's hard for me to explain how I care about people because you noticed it in stuff that for me just comes out naturally. And yeah, I don't know. It sounds like a humble brag, but I care about people, man. And as for what I enjoy doing with that, I enjoy spending time with a lot of different people. I enjoy meeting people, specifically meeting people from different countries, which it comes from my enjoyment of travel. And that's something I really want to do in the future. And yeah, that is my answer, Poppy.
Okay, would you say I care about people?
You do. Yes, I would say that.
How would you characterize the way that I care about people compared to the way that most people care about people?
Well, I can't speak for most people. I think definitely that like the absolute proof that you care about people is the foundation of the GTO club. And I'm sure like we'll talk about it, how that all started in our first conversation about that. But the main intention behind you starting the GTO club was that you just told me, you said, I finally figured out a way to help people. That was the first thing you told me about the GTO club. It wasn't, oh my God, Jonah, I found out a way that we can make a lot of money. It was, Jonah, I found a way to finally help people. So, you definitely care about people. And a lot, like a big way you do that, especially the way I see you work with people in the GTO club, is that you like taking on other people's problems and not necessarily making them your own, but you try to put yourself in their shoes, and you try to find a solution, find answers for those people based on their problems. So if someone's struggling from one particular thing, you put in the time, you put in the effort to figure out a way to get better at that, to help other people become better at that.
So I've been thinking about this, and I don't know if it's more of like I enjoy the challenge of it, or I enjoy the process of it, or I actually care. Because I think back to, this is about my book, when I put this in the book too, was that I think becoming great at poker really led me to lack caring in a lot of ways, because the less you care about people, the more you can focus on what you're doing. The more you care about people, the less inclined I feel like, me personally, I am to want to focus on one thing that I'm doing. So if I care about seeing this person, I care about this woman, I care about this family, care about this friend, well, I'm going to go want to spend time with that person. I'm going to go want to travel to see that person, especially when I'm living in different places. And I always felt like that got in the way of the ultimate poker goal or poker dream, whatever it is I had. So I feel like I'm always just curious how that looks to an outside perspective, because for me, it seems like it's something that I'm trying to learn more about. And I think it's kind of a weird thing to talk about, because I don't hear many people ever say like, oh, like, most people are gonna be like, yeah, I care about people. Because who's gonna be like, yeah, like I don't, like I'm trying to figure out what caring means. Like, what does it mean to care about someone? And I think most people would just be like, automatically they would say something like that. But I think it's something I've been really studying a lot of lately. And I guess that's true, because I really do try to put myself in the position of everyone that's in the group and figure out how can I get better at what they're doing. So it's interesting answer to think about there.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I definitely agree that you were in a position before when you were solely focused on poker and you took that direction. And I think now transitioning into things outside of poker, into the business world, into helping others through the GTO club, I think you are entitled to feel that. And I think you're actually smart and very self-aware to realize that, hey, I don't necessarily know what caring about people is, but I'm trying to figure it out, and I want to figure it out. So I think
this is what Jonah does. This is what people like Jonah. He builds them up, man. You miniature me, you do me to me. You do that.
Yeah, I give you a taste of your own good medicine.
This is what you do to me. I do this to other people, and then you do it back to me. So it makes sense, I guess. You hang out with poker players out there, right? So you've met a bunch of poker players, and you've hung out with a couple of the guys out there. Fedor, and a couple other guys, right?
Yeah. So I was introduced to the game of poker when I was 11 years old. Shout out to my grandma and her kitchen table. That's where it all started. Thanks to that table, this conversation wouldn't be happening right now, probably, debatably. I don't think it would have happened otherwise, because along the years, I haven't really met anyone in Malta who was like involved in the poker world that I didn't meet because of the grandma kitchen table game. So yeah, I bet that's all. I bet that's really all you want to hear about.
So wait, what's your grandma the only person you met
about my involvement?
Is your grandma the only poker player in Malta? I don't understand, kid.
No. But she started it all. We used to meet up we still do actually, every Friday night. We meet up at my grandma's. She cooks food for us, and then we always end. She gives me the wink, and I go get the chips from the drawer, and we set up a table. And she makes it look. What was that?
Is she single?
No, she's not, Poppy. She's not.
Okay, I'm just wondering, man. Be grandpa over here, grandpa Joey, man. Hey, come here, grandson.
Listen. I appreciate your involvement in my life, Joey, but I ain't calling you grandpa anytime soon. Let's leave it at that. Yeah, but.
So wait, what other poker players do you know? Because we got a question Lucas asked in the chat. Do you know any other poker guys there?
In Malta? Well, I know some people from the home games that I play. Some locals. I don't know. I know that a lot of pros moved out here after Black Friday, but I don't really know a lot of the poker players in Malta. A lot of them are online guys. I know one guy called Steven, Dutch guy, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Because a lot of the online guys, I'm not really involved in the poker scene that much. Joey made me retire Joey gave me a condition. He said, listen, you work for me, you retire from poker, kid.
I didn't fucking say that. What are you talking about, right? You're making up these allegations that aren't even true.
Indirectly, that's what you said.
So I didn't say that then.
Indirectly. That's what it felt like you said. And I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong.
So wait, so you said with your grandma, you guys are playing you play the great game, or do you play chess, or like what are you playing with your grandma exactly?
Well, no, we're not playing. We're not playing chess on the kitchen table, as far as I know. We play the almost great game. We play with two cards.
The almost
We're
great,
missing.
not the almost great game. You play no limit hold'em, is what you're saying.
We play no limit hold'em. Yes.
Yeah, it's like that's a traditional form of poker. It's not quite the great game of Portland, Omaha, but it's still a good game on its own.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's four cards. Four cards does bring a lot more excitement to the table, and I think maybe I should try to introduce that to. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't confuse people like that. Introducing the great game to the dinner table
That's true. Why don't you talk about what's going on in a couple weeks here, Poppy?
in a couple of weeks. Oh man, so yeah, in a couple of weeks, it's finally happening after I think me and Joy have known each other for a couple of years. Never met in person ever. So we're finally meeting in a few weeks, and what a setting to meet at too. We're flying to
A romantic occasion, huh? Right? Is that we're gonna play some? You ain't gonna kill me, right, kid? You ain't gonna get out of line. You know what I say to the stalkers and the hardcores out there? You can just tell me, don't kill me. Just tell me what you want to do. I'm gonna decline or I'll accept. But
yeah, I mean, I did start off as Joey's fan, so he could always just be playing the long stalker game over here. working.
There's like a 7% chance that could be happening right now, and I'm okay with that, Poppy. It's okay. You've added a lot of value to my life and to what I'm doing with my projects, so that's okay, yeah, man. Yeah. The long term vision you've had is good.
Yeah. So in a few weeks, I'm flying out to the great city of Miami.
No, stop. Come on. It's not the great city of Miami. You're flying to Miami. You can't just put the great in front of anything. You're disrespecting the great game of Portland, Omaha by doing that.
That's true. Yeah. So we're flying out to Miami for Ultra Music Festival, which I'm pretty excited about. I've heard Joey. I don't know. I've heard you talk a little bit about your partying days. So I'm excited to see. I'm hoping. Are you bringing a spirit hood?
Poppy, listen, man. I don't know. I don't know if TOS will be broken there, but I know I will have the spirit hood. The spirit hood will be on me. And listen, Miami Ultra, a lot of things to get out of line down there.
For sure, but I'm gonna keep you in line. Trust me.
Are we gonna record some content down there? Are we gonna do some like behind the scenes little video blogs with me and the senoritas and the mamacitas down there, or what's kind of the plan for the content down there? You say you got an idea. I don't really know what the idea is.
Yeah, so something I really want to do is I want to document you at Ultra and in Miami, because obviously it's a great opportunity, because my favorite part of the content creation is the actual filming. I enjoy editing as well, but I really enjoy filming more than I do editing. So this is the first opportunity that we're going to get to film something together. So I'm excited about that, and definitely behind the scenes stuff would be cool. Obviously, we'll try to keep it. I think PG-13 is a good rating, or 18 maybe. I don't know. 18
not
plus.
Not going to do it. Nah, man. Come on. Man. Come on. You put me in Miami.
It's gonna be rated R.
Listen, man, I ain't married. All I know is yayo, man. Listen, man. I don't even know what's gonna. No, I'm kidding. It's gonna be in line. I'm gonna be good. I'm doing too many things right now in my life to get too out of line for 3 days and have that stick with me for a month or two, or a week.
For sure. Yeah. So definitely content creation is on the as part of the plan for me in Miami. Definitely want to do some type of video blog for you if you're up for that. I think you'll be up for it. You think you're up for that?
Jonah, I was born to be up for it, my friend. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Yeah. We're pushing the social media. Doug's got us on the social media. So right now, me and Jonah are building a social media system for content distribution, for brand building, for army growing, and yeah. So you're big into Instagram, and you're big into what else are you? You're big into like Instagram, not really Twitter as much, but you like Instagram as the main social media platform for like growing a brand right now, right?
Yeah, so I really like Instagram right now. I've loved Instagram for a while, and when it introduced the stories feature, although everyone was screaming, "Oh, like you copied Snapchat! You copied Snapchat!" I kind of enjoyed that because I
love copying people.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so Instagram's the one I'm into the most right now, and I don't know, man. I love Twitter though. I really enjoy Twitter. although it's not the same as Instagram. But I think Twitter and Instagram are my top two favorite for sure.
Can you talk about this sliding in the DMs on Instagram strat you're using right now?
Man, I don't know if the people are ready for this. Shout out to mom if you're still listening.
Who cares, man? What you talk to women, big deal. It's a big thing.
So no, it's not about that, man. So I'm into sliding people into people's DMs on Instagram. Shout out to Brendan for exposing the big secret. And yeah, my strategy for that is just go. It's my strategy. Just go all in. Just slide in.
What does that? I don't know what that means. Can you tell me that? You haven't told me this. I don't think you've actually told me about this strategy, by the way. This is like a strategy I heard third party.
Oh no, man! You find someone that you're interested in communicating with a little bit more. Someone who may or may not be too famous for your reach. You find their Instagram. They have their DMs open for messaging, which is one of the platforms. For example, on Twitter, I think a lot more people block their DMs on Twitter. On Instagram, everyone seems to leave them open. So you go, hit the button, you type out your message, and you slide right in.
What does that? So what do you type out? I don't know. What does that mean? What do you type out?
I mean, it depends. Usually, my approach is pretty straightforward. Hey, what's up? I'd like to connect a bit more. I'd like to have more conversations. I'm pretty clean, Poppy. I'm pretty clean.
What's the success rate? What's the success rate on this testing that you're running right now?
Pretty low success rate. Although I have been aiming pretty high to people who may or may not have over 7 million followers on Instagram. Shout out to Alexis Wren. If you're watching this, Alexis, just hit the filter request button on Instagram DMs, and you'll find my name somewhere there, along with other 250 million people who probably message you every day trying to stalk you. I'm actually not going to stalk you and kill you. I'm not going to kill you. I'm probably going to stalk you.
That's your sales pitch, huh? Maybe we should run some A and B tests on Instagram. So maybe we should send one string of messages to one group of women and then send another string of messages to another group of women and then see exactly which one has a higher success or conversion rate. And then from there, we can narrow down our strategy and our approach, and then we can turn that into a more GTO-ified message. And then depending on the variables shown by the profiles of the women and shown by their tendencies and what they post, then we can go from there and then narrow down that more, run some more A and B tests on Instagram, and then we can get to a more GTO conclusion on what the best strategy is. Jonah, what do you think about that?
Man, I started telling you about it to get on Instagram a couple of weeks ago, and you said right now you just told everyone we're going to build systems for social media and building brands. Looks like you just want a strat. You want to build strat and systems for sliding into women's DMs. Is that correct?
Well, technically what I'm doing, Poppy, is I'm taking pot know-how approach and I'm just applying it to everything else. So basically the same way you get better at poker is that's just how you get better at poker. You try new strategies out. You develop new approaches. You develop new strategies against different opponents. That's just how you get better at playing high-level poker. So you take that same approach, you then apply it to social media, you apply it to business, you apply it to content creation, you apply it to anything you do, and then you end up with better results, right?
I like it. Yeah, I like it. I think we should definitely I like the idea of having two streams of messages to send to two different groups of people and testing our results from there. I think we should definitely do that. I think my approach has been pretty noob so far, and that I just pick, just go in there with no strategy.
Well, you do it to everyone, right? Because you're really big. You're really good on Twitter by just you're jabbing. You're always like communicating with people that you look up to, or you're always communicating with people that you feel like do great work. So it seems like you're very strong at doing that. That's something that I don't really do as much, but it seems like that's something that you really enjoy doing on social media.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Twitter is the best one for that, because I feel like I feel like a lot of people, the success rate with communicating with people who are technically defined as like hard to reach because they've got a huge following and you assume they're receiving a bunch of messages on Twitter. Twitter has definitely been the platform where I've had most success with communicating with people. And my approach for that is always just treat them as human beings. I don't fanboy anyone. I might be a fanboy for some people. I fanboyed you for a little bit, but
you fanboy Gary Vee. Stop it, dude. Come on, you cannot lie on the pod. Come on, kid.
I still I don't really consider myself to be a fanboy in that regard.
I consider you to be a fanboy for sure.
I look up to people sometimes, and All right, maybe sometimes. I mean, I used to be, this is how our relationship started, you can say too. I was a fan of your podcast, and I slid into your comment section.
Yeah, how did we start talking anyway? Because listen,
Yeah,
believe it or not, literally have like, I don't even want to sound anything, but I get a lot of people hitting me up. Okay, I get a lot of people messaging me. I get a lot of people like reaching out. How exactly did we meet? I don't really quite remember this.
yeah. So I actually do remember it quite clearly. I know it was sometime in 2015, which is the year when I decided to give online MTTs a shot on Stars, and that was the year where my big dream was, I'm gonna get to the top level of MTTs online. I'm gonna be one of the best. And I used to grind it a lot. I used to grind almost every single day for sometimes over 8 hours a day, and that was the year. So then I got into your content. I think it was the Fedor podcast might be the first podcast that I watched. And then I started watching some of your other stuff. And at that time, I'll be honest, I didn't get it. I didn't quite get it. I thought that to get on your podcast, you have to be, you have to win something. You have to be something. You have to have some sort of success, which obviously is true, but
Bang,
some sort of success, success at poker. So my idea was, all right, if I'm gonna be the best poker player in 2015, then maybe I got a shot to get on the podcast. So I was watching your live stream on Twitch at the time, and I don't know who you were streaming with, but I got into the comment section. I was like, "Yo, Poppy," I was like, "Remember the name." I was like, "One day you're gonna have me on the podcast." And your response, and my thinking at the time was obviously, I'm grinding hard. I'm trying to win. I'm trying to win. Become good at the game of MTTs online.
Stop saying, "Come on, stop it."
I tried to tease it a little bit, and that was my approach. And then I remember your response was, "Who the fuck are you, kid?" It's like, "Who are you?"
I did not say that. What are you doing? What?
I swear to God that was your response. Your response was, "Who are you?" He's like, "Who the fuck's this kid?" That was your response.
Who are you? Was it who are you? It's a big difference.
No, you said, who the fuck's this kid? Is what you said. You said, "Who the fuck's this kid?"
I said that. Okay, allegedly.
Allegedly, of course.
Okay.
And and then from there we just that was pretty much the end of it. That conversation died out really quickly. You probably thought I was one of the trolls, and then we communicated on social media a couple of times after that, and then we started chatting a bit more. And then one time we started chatting on Facebook, and we chatted for a while. Then we became started chatting a couple times a week. That was pretty much that's how it started.
Should you bring up those pictures that you would send me, or are those like not something we should talk about on here?
No, maybe towards the end.
Towards the end, when your mom's not watching.
Yeah, when towards the end.
Seriously, they were good. The thing was, why weren't you wearing a shirt in those? That's the one part I couldn't figure out, Jonah. Why weren't you wearing a shirt in some of those pictures?
I know, man. I mean, I looked up to you a lot, and I was trying to get into the fitness grind at that time. And I thought, listen, got a shot like this, take off the shirt.
Okay, I'm kidding. You really didn't send me any picture.
Poppy, you can't be lying to the people on the podcast. Come on.
Yeah, that's true. I can't. So I'm trying to think. I can't remember like why, because like I said, I get a lot of people that message me, and they always say they say I don't know. They say all those sorts of different things, and they're just fans, or they want to be friends, or they want to just show me some love, or whatever like that. But I feel like with you, I think that from seeing you, it was from Gary Vee, I believe. That's kind of what it was. Is that I think that you also like Gary Vee, or maybe I got you into Gary Vee. I can't remember.
You got me into that. That was after that though. That was 2016. I remember
I did last week.
Yeah, I remember our conversation started off being about like really random stuff. Like you'd post something and I'd comment on what you would have posted. You do the same thing. And then I remember January 2016 is when I started getting into the YouTube thing. I started making videos, and then I remember you when we had a conversation, you were like, "Oh, I didn't know you were into this sort of stuff," and I was like, "Well, I didn't know either." And then when I started getting into it a little bit more, I remember, we were both saying, "Oh, we should do something together." So at some point, which we both didn't know what that meant, I feel like. And then, later on, August 2016 is when you got the idea for the GTO Club, and that was the most hyped phone call I've ever received in my entire life, I think. Debatably, that was crazy.
All right, tell people when I because I called when I came up with this idea for the GTO club. I called like 5 people at like 6 a.m. and I was super excited. I was super. I mean, I feel it right now. Thinking about it. But tell people what I said to you when I called you.
Yeah, so I remember it clearly because I was at the gym, and it was like one of the few times that I took the phone into the gym with me, and I started getting like these texts. It's from Joey. He's like, "Yo, I need to talk to you. Like, get on the phone. Can I call you? Can I call?" I was like, "I'm working out." He's like, "Man, stop working out." It's like, we got to have a conversation. So, when something sounded serious, so I was like, "All right, like, okay, gym session's over. Go out to the lobby," and I get onto the phone, and he's like, "Jonah, I finally figured it out." And I'm like, "What?" And then for the next like couple of minutes, it was just silence, and Joey going, "I finally figured it out. I finally got it." And then that's when he told me. And like I said before, the first thing he said was, "I finally figured out a way to help people." And then you told me about the idea for the GTO club, and I liked it. And then you said, you said that you wanted me to be involved in some way, and that's where the role of the assistant started to develop. The wizard assistant, sorry.
Do you think you're a good assistant?
I think I'm good at trying to constantly improve at being a good assistant.
Yes, I agree. I would agree.
I think I've got enough drive and passion and the desire to be good that I constantly put in the work to try to be good. I don't know if I've reached any sort of level of success with that yet, but I'm trying.
I think I'm very bad at knowing what an assistant should be doing because you're kind of an assistant, but at the same time you like do a lot of other stuff because you do a lot of video stuff. You're very good to brainstorm with. I don't know. Whenever we talk, I just like ideas become unlocked and something just comes out of me. And I'm just like, oh, idea, boom. It's like fucking, it's like some sort of craziness starts popping out of my brain here, there, everywhere. And I don't know. It's wild, man. So I kind of feel like you're like a magnitude of different roles, but you also have aspirations. You want to eventually be an entrepreneur one day, and you eventually want to do something similar one day yourself, right?
Yeah. What was the last thing you said?
I said you eventually want to do something similar yourself one day where you're an entrepreneur or something of that nature.
Yeah, I think, I've always wanted to manage my own thing. And at this point, I don't know what that thing would be, but it's definitely, I definitely see that for me in the future. And I think that's why I really enjoy working with you because like you said, the role it's not really assistant. That's why I like wizard because it kind of describes what it's a wizard. And I feel like sometimes I'm more of, I don't know, like we talked about this the other day about treating the people you work with as partners versus employee-employer relationship and the value that brings for both parties. So I always try to consider myself as being, I don't want to say on the same level as you, but trying my role is also trying to improve your brand and essentially make more money for the business and improve on that front.
How much money? I'm trying to make you $1 million in 3 years, Jonah. That's my goal. I'm trying to make you personally $1 million in less than 3 total. Like from now until 3 years from now, that's my goal. That's my goal to myself for you.
Thank you. And obviously when someone says that, and I think that's part of the biggest reason I enjoy working with you is the belief, like, I don't know, you seem to, for whatever reason it is, you've instilled in me the necessary characteristics and things that have developed into what now you believe in. So it's kind of like you built me up to this person that you believe in, and you believe in me a lot, and I believe in what you do a lot, and I think that's a good combination.
Well, I mean, what's there not to believe in for yourself, kid? You're a hardworking guy. You have better work ethic than I mean, fuck, man, almost everybody I know, except a couple maybe high stakes poker guys. But in terms of that, work ethic super strong. The way that you're able to navigate social media, to understand the dynamics of social media, how that works out, your passion for creating videos, your passion for being successful, your passion for people that you like, for people that you enjoy being around. I mean, I feel like there's so many of these great qualities you have in yourself. And yeah, I feel like you're also self-aware to realize that what you do possess and then what you need to get better at, and you're driven enough to actually want to do that. So, I mean, when you combine those sort of elements together in a person, I mean, that's the recipe for success. And I mean, I don't know, whatever it is you want to do, I feel like you're going to be successful at. So if you're somebody who has ambitious dreams and someone who wants to do these things that are sort of glorious, then, I feel like you definitely have the potential to do that.
Pop P. And this is what, all right, everybody. This is what Joey's really good at right here. Okay. This is one of his strong suits. I tell him you've got three main strong suits. One, good on camera, good voice, good for video content, which is why his podcast. By the way, man, shout out to you for winning Podcast of the Year for 2016, my man. Thank you for. I appreciate that you waited until you won an award, so this podcast became an award-winning podcast, and then invited me onto the podcast. I appreciate that a lot. It means a lot to me.
You're welcome.
So yeah. And second good quality Joey has, obviously, PLO. And the third one, I tell him, you give people the belief that they need. You build them up, you pump them up, you find their best qualities, and you just build them up. And I think that's, one of the big values that the GTO club has, thanks to you.
I only tell people I believe in them when I believe in them. If I don't believe in them, then I don't fucking lie to them. I say, hey, man.
That's true.
I probably just won't bring it up. Yeah, that's true. I just told some secrets.
But also when you see potential, I feel like, so assume you see potential, but you don't see the right things. You call out the bad things, but you also try to build that person up, telling him that he has potential. And then you try to, especially for people you're close to, obviously people in the GTO club, you find their best qualities, you find their worst qualities, and you call them out. You call it like you see it for everything that you do. And I really appreciate that about you. And then you constantly try to help people.
Yeah, I think it helps for a certain type of person to be able to say something like that to them. And especially, I think it's like a combination of different things that have to come into play in a situation like that. First, that person has to have respect for you. So if the person you're talking to has respect for your opinion, what you say, you can say things like that. Whereas if you're going to approach someone that you don't really know that well and you say, hey, dude, like you're good at this, but you're not very good at this, they're going to be like, hey, go fuck yourself, man. Why are you telling me this a lot of times?
Shout out to the comment trolls.
Exactly. Shout out to the comment trolls for sure. I don't really know. I'm not a big fan of just going up and telling people what they're anything really. I'm more of someone that likes to build people up. I like to focus on the positives rather than the negatives on a person. I believe in sort of, Gary Vee says doubling, tripling down on your strengths rather than focusing on your weaknesses. So I think that when you're figuring out what your strengths are, you want to really focus on your strengths, and then you want to slowly improve your weaknesses areas, but you don't want to let it sort of overcome or overtake your mind and be like, man, I fucking, I suck at being disciplined. I suck at staying on a disciplined schedule for diet, but I'm crushing in these areas of my life. Some people are going to be like, man, they're going to be thinking about how much they're struggling at this area rather than how much they're actually doing well at these other areas. And then it's just going to bring them down. Their level of work or their level of quality is going to start going down in these other areas. And then it's, you know what I mean? So it's like, instead of focusing on that part of things, which is what a lot of people I know have a tendency to do, try to focus on those things and say, hey, you'll get better at these naturally. You'll get better at these slowly, but you're going to keep getting more and more better at these other things. So I think it's kind of something from poker that I picked up, was that I really tried to focus on the areas that I was really strong at. And I would work at areas I felt like I was a little bit weaker at, but instead I would always try to really, really, really focus on the areas I felt like I had a big edge at. So in terms of 3-bet pots and PLOs especially was a big thing I felt like I had a really good edge at. Post flop in position was a spot where I just felt like I had a really good edge at. So I would always think about those areas, always think about how I can get better at those areas and try to get better at those areas. And that way I have this massive edge in one spot instead of like an okay edge in some spots and then a little no edge in some other spots.
Yeah, I mean, you obviously lost me with all the PLO strategy, but I definitely agree. And I think a lot of people just find it easy to complain at what they suck at, or they try to use that as justification. It kind of goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning about just accepting who you are and the way you are based on certain weaknesses. And I feel like a lot of people would rather focus on those things because I think it's just easy. It's like the easy way out, right? A lot of people want the easy way out in anything they do. And I feel like complaining about what you're not good at and blaming your lack of success maybe, or your whatever on what you're bad at, it's probably the easy way out. I don't think putting in 16-hour work session is on anyone's list of easy things to do that I try to be doing. I think a lot of people would rather just say, I don't have time, or I'm just not good at focusing for so long, or I'm not good at this, or I'm not good at that. Well, there's definitely, I kind of feel like everyone's good at least something. And And I think it's identifying that could be challenging, and identifying a way that could lead to something better and improve the weaknesses. And you talk about this a lot in your book. You talk about it really well, about changing, and it's something you've slowly instilled in me, and I feel like I've been using it a lot lately, where you find out what your weakness is, and you either, first of all, you try to find some sort of value in anything, and then you use your weakness to try to turn it into a positive. It's definitely something you speak highly of, and I feel like you're pretty good at it as well.
Damn, man. You like, man, you know too much now. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild.
And I think it all becomes, it all comes down to self-awareness, which I feel like I've always known self-awareness, but I've never known it as what it is, self-awareness. And then shout out to you, and shout out to Gary V for talking a lot about self-awareness. And me and you may or may not have figured out the equation for self-awareness after a long time. And yeah, I think it all starts from really being able to look at yourself objectively, which is not easy considering that you're involved. It's hard to be objective about something you're involved in, but I think it all starts from there. It all starts from being able to pull yourself out of a situation and analyze it internally from an objective standpoint.
That's true. We did figure out we figured out a potential formula to develop self-awareness and to develop values and priorities and structure your time and structure your life in the way that you sort of really want to structure it. So, but we haven't unveiled that quite yet, Jonah. I haven't unveiled that on one person, but I'm a little bit hesitant to roll that out. That could have some potential negative ramifications for people if they decide that there are right or wrong things in that situation. So,
for sure,
yeah, that one's
for sure. But I think it's definitely important for people to. There is an upside to assuming that it's the right equation, right? Assuming it's the right formula. There's definitely an upside to helping people figure out something about themselves that they may be ignoring or just may not be aware of. Something good. Or something
I love
bad.
all your theory, Jonah. I love all your theory. I see. I know you, so we can't continue this conversation.
I'm diving into the theory side of.
Yeah, you're diving way too into theoreticals here, and I don't mind theoreticals usually on the pod, but for me and you, I'm not dealing with theoreticals. Let's get some shout outs here. I think you got a couple of your fans in the chat, man. You got Jake Rainford in the chat.
Oh, shout out to my buddy Jake. Jake lives over in Adlington, the great village of Adlington. That I can't use. I can't use that for that town.
Dude, you make up your own fucking words for it. It's not, everything can't be the great. There's other synonyms for great. The grand. How about the grand, Jonah? The grand game. The grand city.
The grand town of Adlington. Yeah, shout out to Jake. I can't see. I didn't open the chat. Let me open it up.
Let me give some shout outs here. All right, you hold your horses, Poppy. We got Jake Rainford in that chat. Jack Clayton's in that chat. What's up, Jack?
Oh, Jack, my buddy too.
86. Tommy in that chat. Louise Quadskila Lemos. What's up, Poppy? Kristen Mashamana. What's up, Kristen? I saw you hit up Jonah for some work. Listen, Kristen, why you poaching like that, man? Come on, who else we got out here in the chat? Tim F in the chat, Ferris in the chat. Who else we got? Scott F, Brian D, Shimmer, Stockton, Robikin, Hearthstone. What's up, Poppy? Jay Nandez out there in the building. We got my buddy I'm Gonna, GTO Club member in the chat. Chronos in the chat. Who else we got? Too Fat Matt out there, Scott F, NM Grinder, Kyle Johns, Lucas Vienna. Getting fired up. Evan Klein. What's up, puppies?
Man, welcome. getting the shout out on point. Yeah, shout out to Jack. Jack Clayton's probably like my #1 fan on all social media. He's the guy.
Listen, guys, if we can get 35 million likes for this video, I will put out a video with Tom Dwan. If we can get 35 million likes for this video, I will do a podcast with Tom Dwan.
Yeah, guys. I mean, usually this is my role during the podcast in the chat. And Joey never does this. You got it. This is how you got to do it, Joey. You got to look in the camera. And you gotta,
I do not say it. No, I'm not begging for likes on a fucking video.
I'm gonna do it. I'm not gonna beg. I'm gonna ask you if you're enjoying this podcast. It would take a few seconds to just hit that like button, and it would help. It would help the channel out a lot. It would help Joey out a lot. It would help me out a lot because essentially I work for Joey. So please consider hitting that like button down below the video and subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. we do appreciate that, and we're
Why do
not
we
begging. And
appreciate that though? Why is that? I don't know why we do that. What's the point of that?
well, the number of likes improves the rankings of the video using the YouTube
See, I don't think
algorithm.
that's true. I don't think that's true, Jonah.
It's a dislike as well. So like if you guys want to dislike, I'd rather you dislike than not dislike.
That's true. Why don't we talk about what we got going on right now, kid? Where do you feel like we're at with things, with the club, with ourselves, with our self-discovery, our self-exploration, with our eating and our training? Where do you feel like we're at with things right now?
I feel like me and you both like went down the path.
I'm gonna ignore the chat. Listen, I'm gonna ignore the chat for these last like 20 minutes of the podcast because the chat distracts me. I can't get too in the zone. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna look at the chat for the next 20 minutes. Me and Jonah are gonna talk. Let's try to emulate a conversation we might have on Skype. Okay. Let me just pretend like I'm gonna call you today. All right.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just gonna pretend like I'm calling you. Okay. Because when I call you, man, I'm like, I got my headphones. I'm like, Jonah, what's up, puppy? What you doing?
Do you want me to go on the beanbag chair or something around the corner or what?
You don't have a fucking beanbag chair, first of all. All right, go ahead. So, Jonah, what you up to, kid?
Hey,
what are you doing? What are you doing yourself today, Poppy?
What's up? So yeah, today I went to the gym and I crushed it, man. I crushed it at the gym. Had a good session. Obviously, I've been a little bit out of line with my workouts and my eating over the last couple of weeks, but I'm trying to get back on track. And today I crushed it at the gym. I felt really good. I ran a mile, which is I always start off my gym sessions with a mile.
Nice.
And yeah, and I ran it faster than I usually do. I'm trying to go for speed a little more. I feel like before I was approaching the whole gym situation, like the whole thing. I was like, okay, I just go and I just do it. And if I do it at 70% today, I'll do it 70% today.
Say this in a conversation though. You're supposed to be emulating our regular. If I called you today, I'm like, hey, dude, I got to chat. Let's chat.
All right, let's chat.
Let's start over because you never say that. So pretend you're not on the podcast right now. All right.
Okay.
All right. What are you up to, dude? What are you doing?
Not much, man. Not much. Just sitting at my desk.
Sitting at desk grinding. Did you wake up today? Did you have your game plan today when you woke up? Like when we messaged you last night?
Yeah, I woke up in the middle of the night actually, and I saw your text saying, please send me your game plan in the morning. And I went back to bed, and then I woke up, and first thing I thought, I was like, oh, I got to make the game plan. Got to make the game plan for the rest of the day, which is something you've been getting me into. That helps out a lot. Yeah, I got my game plan on, and I'm pretty sure I sent it to you, or I put it up on the forums as soon as I woke up.
So how has execution of the game plan went for you today?
Pretty good. I was like behind an hour because I got stuck in traffic going back home from the gym. But for the most part, I hit it all except toward the end where then I had started having Wi-Fi problems and I started freaking out that I wasn't going to make it for the podcast. So I kind of lost track of the game plan at that point. But I hit most of the items. Plus, I'm pretty good at being.
The basic point of the game plan right now for you and for me and for other people in the club is that I'll be able to actually pretend we're on Skype right now. I can pretend we're talking to just me and you, kid. I know that you can't do this right now. I don't know if you're that level or not yet, but I'm going to do it. So basically, the point of the game plan now isn't to actually hit everything on the game plan. The point is to get into the habit of building it, thinking about it, getting used to having it in mind. And right now, you don't necessarily have to put so much pressure or stress on yourself to actually do everything on there, but just a habit. So right now, you set it out, and whether you do it or not, it doesn't matter. Next week, you keep doing it for a week, or you do it for 6 out of 7 days, 5 out of 7 days. And eventually what's going to happen is that a month from now, you're going to it's like clockwork. You wake up or you do it the night before, you got your game plan for the day, you got your things, your main things that you need to focus on, whether it's for me or for yourself. And then, yeah, that just sort of builds up. You build that habit up from there. And I think that's the big purpose of the game plan. So if you don't get something done, it's really not a big deal right now.
I discovered something today, actually, about the game plan that I implemented today that I wasn't implementing these past days that I've been doing it. I scheduled everything every like 30 minutes of the day, pretty much with a time. So I set a time. Okay, so 2 p.m. was when I had to leave for the gym. And I feel like it really became a game for me because, okay, I saved 5 minutes doing the previous task because I did it faster. So now at 1:55, I was ready to go to the gym. So I felt like my mind was like, okay, I'm winning. I'm ahead 5 minutes. So I feel like when I schedule things down, instead of just saying today I want to do these things, but I say I'm going to do this at that hour, and I'm going to do that at that hour. It sort of becomes you just avoid. It's what we always talk about doing though, like avoiding the white space. like avoiding those hours of the day where you're not sure what you should be doing or what you want to do, and you end up scrolling through your phone on Twitter and on social media. So
I
definitely,
think
I want
the problem with that's going to come out though is that when it might not be a problem for you now, but I feel like it's a problem on a grander scale for more people, is that it's very hard to progress from not being regimented, not being scheduled, and then jumping into being timed. And I think the big thing that a lot of time productivity and being more efficient with your time talks about is that scheduling these blocks of time, like you said, 3 o'clock, do this. And then what happens for a lot of people is that they start they go over by 35 minutes or 45 minutes. And it's easy to keep that up in the beginning of the day. But as the day goes on, it becomes harder and harder. And then certain people react to that in certain ways. They start not realizing like what their main priorities are. So when they go over, they're like, they get lost and then they get frazzled. And then all of a sudden they like waste 3 hours because their schedule's behind. So I think that is a good thing to do if you can manage to start off with like an introductory sort of game plan. And then as you build from there and you become more effective with that, then you start regimenting times in there, or regiment times for specific big things rather than trying to regiment every single thing that you need to do. And maybe planning out just those top 3 priorities for the day. Maybe those would be a better thing to start off regimenting and then work in the other things around that time as well.
Yeah, for me, the way I do it is, and the way I think time works for me is because, and I understand like it's not a system that would work for everyone, but I think for me, the way it works is I'm capable of readjusting and adjusting throughout the day. So like I was behind an hour because I was stuck in traffic, right? So
okay, Poppy. I'm treating this like a Skype conversation here. Okay, so what's the sample size of this though?
Of what?
Of this, because from what I've seen so far, I mean, I don't feel like that's true.
No, I just feel like for me it's better. I just like it more.
But I'm saying, you said you're able to do this though, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say what I was gonna say was I'm able to readjust. So like I'm able to switch things up. So then when I got home.
Okay, what's the sample size for this?
I don't know. I've done it for days, but like
This
not
is my
now, but
point.
I've done it in the past. Yeah, but I feel like. What was that?
I said it's still like a hypothesis. You think that you're able to adjust, but you don't really know yet for sure.
No, I just think so. Yeah, I feel like it's better for me, but I mean, it might not be. I guess I'll have to wait and see. After I do it for a couple more days and then see how that develops, and if I want to keep it up or if I want to change it up a little bit, or go back to not scheduling it by hour, or do it in blocks of maybe morning, afternoon, and the evening could be like another way I could try. I've never tried that actually.
I think that's a better way to look at it, instead of going into it being like, yes, like I know this is like, this works for me, like I fucking crush this. It's like, well, you haven't really done it. You've done it like 2 days. You can't be like, yeah, like this is gonna fucking kill it when you only done it for 2 days. You have to sort of go in there with a more objective mindset and be like, okay, maybe this, because that's sort of how, when you're testing things out, you don't want to be like, all right, this works. Like, this is for me. This is like my shit. Because what happens is that's how you end up setting yourself back for periods of time doing things. So going into it with the mindset like, okay, this I think this is going to work for me. And then seeing if it does, and then gaining an actual sample size to know that it does, and then doubling down on that will be a better approach than just being like, this is the way to be. Whereas now it's sort of, now you think about it in a more open-minded way where you're like, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but that's what I'm trying to figure out right now.
Yeah, I like that more. Of course, I mean, I don't know the answer right now, and I mean, who knows? I think things change so often that, like, who knows if the answer that I find right for me now will be the thing I find right for me later on. I think ideally,
that's a podcast answer, Poppy.
No, man, it's not. It's not a podcast answer. It can't be a podcast answer. I've never been on a podcast before in my life. What are you saying? Come on, can't be a podcast.
That's a podcast answer, because that's an obvious thing. What you said, that's an obvious thing right there. That's something we talk about all the time, is that everything evolves, everything turns into something else. How something might be now isn't necessarily how it's going to be a month from now, and to be open-minded about potentially something changing with our values or changing with the way that we're prioritizing things. So if you're stuck in one certain regimen for months at a time, it's probably not going to be the ideal thing, because us as people, when we're doing a lot of things, we're going to evolve and we're going to develop, and we kind of want to be evaluating that system and that progress we're on a consistent basis.
Exactly.
Right?
Very right, sir. You are correct in your answer.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I'm right. We could be wrong, man. I don't know.
We think you're right. But we think, I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know.
We'll have to see. We'll have to run some more sims for sure.
I don't know, man. What's happening with the group, man? What kind of work do you do with the group today?
Today I had a couple of conversations with people. Shout out to Brandon for trying to get me to book. Man, that guy's the devil. He tried to get me to book the flight to Paris tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. 7 hours, Papi. Wants me to go to Paris.
Really?
He's the devil. And then he tried to get On Gun to not play the Super Tuesday today. Come on, man. Now, what if On Gun goes on to win the Super Tuesday? You tell me that.
I think that kind of goes back to the whole entire what you value more than the other thing. It's a tough spot because I feel like a lot of people want to go out and do these things and travel and and then it comes down to when then.
I didn't tell you about my reasoning for the Paris situation. I don't think I told you about it, right? I didn't talk to you about it.
Not yet.
Yeah, because the thing with Paris is that I kind of want to do it because it's like spontaneous. It's like I've never booked a flight the night before. I don't know. It's cool. I love Paris. It's a cool city. So I kind of wanted to do it, but then it's like what you're talking about. I had like stuff planned for this week. One of the main things that I want to do is catch up on all the video content that I have for my YouTube channel. So I'm like running three videos behind that I want to pump out in this week. So then when he told me to go to Paris, my first thing that I thought was, well, if I do that, there's definitely no way I'm going to put out the videos this week. There's like no shot. And then like it's stupid for me to think that I go grind all day in Paris. Like, no, we're not. We're going to do museums. We're going to do fun shit. We're probably going to go get out of line a little bit, do some drinks, do some shots, and it happens. And then next thing I know, it's Saturday and there's no videos done. So then it becomes to what you talk about, what you were saying, which is like, what do you value the most? What do you want to do the most? And what can you do now and what can you do later too?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a big thing we have to ask ourselves. And I mean, I only know from my own personal experience with a lot of these things is that I often chose one straight path because I think what happens is that you say yes to this and then you go have a great time. And obviously you're gonna have a great time. And then all of a sudden that opens more doors for more great times. You end up doing more things and you end up going up from there. And then, this one great decision that you made to have a great time, it sort of builds here, goes here, goes here, goes here. And then it develops this way for a lot of people. And what happens is they have a hard time getting back on track with that other way. And then they find themselves 3, 4, or 5 years down the road and they say, fuck, man, how did I end up in this situation when I wanted to do this 4 or 5 years ago? And then they end up having all these feelings. It's just this is from my experience from having conversations with different people. This is what I've noticed. A lot of people I've talked to and a lot of former poker players I've talked to have said these same exact things to me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, another thing I did today was update the leaderboard for the gamification that we started with the GTO club. And obviously,
who's winning, Jonah? Who's winning the point system for the club?
Yeah, you're still up top. You're still leading me by like 17 points, I think.
You want to make any sort of wager on who can? I'll make any wager you want with who gets more points. Because first of all, I'm creating the game. I get to create the points. I get to come up with what counts as points. I get to come up with the metrics for how it's all done.
Yeah.
So obviously in this spot, I'm going to have an advantage. Now, of course,
that's where you're wrong though. Because one of the points, if people took this seriously as much as you do take it seriously, they can beat you. It's proven because one of the main point factors is getting in touch with you to have a conversation with you, and you can't do that for yourself. So like, there's a way for it to be beat by other people. And it's one of the most points you can earn too, doing that for that level. So
well, that's where the god of the game gets to decide, okay, well, if people are exploiting this bug, then I'm not gonna be fucking poker stars where I'm just like, okay, keep doing it. No, I'm gonna change the point system.
Wait, you're gonna raise rake on us?
Yeah.
Are you gonna raise rake on us?
I might raise the price of the club. I don't know, man.
Oh my God, he's gonna raise rake for us. He wants to win so bad, he's gonna raise rake. He's gonna be introducing spinning.
I might lower your hourly and raise the price of the group at the same time.
Yeah, this is unacceptable. This is atrocious act.
This is an atrocity. This is a shocking atrocity. Let's take some questions from the chat. Let's take some questions from the chat. Anybody in the chat has some questions, hit us up, let me know, and we'll answer a couple before we get going here. Trying to keep these under like an hour for a little bit. I'm doing some experimentation here I'm running some simulations here. What do you got going on today, Poppy? You going to bed soon?
Well, it's 11 p.m. now, and I'm on this sleep. My sleep schedule changes like every week, and right now my sleep schedule is like sleep at 4 a.m., wake up at noon. So like after this, I'll probably have some more stuff to do, and I want to do some video editing. I'm editing my last London vlog that I want to upload in the next couple of days. So I'll probably.
What kind of stuff I have to do I have to do today?
You? What have you done so far?
Yeah. I had my meeting with one of the companies.
Yeah. Go on.
I never heard you interrupt me so many times, kid.
Sorry, man. Sorry, man.
I literally never interrupted me this many times in my life.
Sorry. God, you got fired.
You really haven't, man. I'm serious right now. Jonah. I'm about to get docked or something like that. I'm about to dock the salary here. I'm about to put you in the corner here, kid.
Oh my God. All right.
Can't be interrupted. Kid. Come on, man. What is this, Poppy? What is going on here, man? I'm teaching you all wrong, man. I'm teaching you all wrong if this is the case. But all right, what I've done so far today, I think I did the main club system for the day, or I just did my forum post, and then I had my meeting with one of the companies. I have to have a follow-up meeting with them. I have to get back with them with information today, and then we did podcast preparation, GTO body treatment with skincare and face and all that fun stuff like that. And I think that's where we're at right now with things. I still got to do
workout. What's that going? How's that going for you? The workout and the diet. I know you were talking about improving that a little bit more seriously. Have you started doing that, or is it different?
Diet's going strong. 4.5 meals a day is what we're going for right now, and that's going pretty well. With the workouts, I'm thinking about trying that Tim Ferriss thing where he talked about one of the 4-hour body straps, which is the workouts 2 times a week, where it's a different type of workout. So I might try that for maybe like 3 weeks or 4 weeks and kind of see how it goes, or I might not. I'm not sure.
I have a question, because you don't travel like a bunch, but like you do move around from place to place every now and then. Like, how do you find it hard to like stay focused, especially with workouts? I find that when I go, like, even if it's like a 2-day trip, I kind of mess it up for like a week because of like a 2-day trip, because I lose like my focus with the workout, especially, there's no gym, there's no like gym I go to.
I mean, I think that's like, once again, about framing and probably like a bad mindset to go into it. So if you say, when I travel, I have a hard time with working out, you're probably going to have a hard time with working out. Whereas I think there's so many different ways to work out. There's like, you can build a workout right in here. I could do some wall sits with some push-ups into some tricep dips with some squats and some lunges and some ab workouts. And you got a workout right there. That's going to be a pretty good workout for something you can create right in this room, and you can create that anywhere. So I think if you just adjust what your workout is and you do more yoga, put in more stretching, you bring your foam roller with, like right there, that's a lot of stuff for working out. So for me, when I'm traveling, now I've been staying at 2 different places. I think that's the big challenge, is rebuilding a system that you can excel with wherever you're at. And I think that's what's fun about traveling, is that you get to figure out, how can I build a system that allows me to do what my top priorities are. And I mean, for me here, it's been pretty simple. I think there's yoga to do here. There's hiking to do out here in Laguna Beach. There's the gym here in the apartment complex, this little big ass structure here of things to do. So there's a lot of different things. And in terms of food, I mean, I think that's easy to do. You can cook your food, or you can go buy healthy food from some of the stores around here that make pre-made food, like the Whole Foods and stuff like that. So in terms of staying on track with diet and fitness, it's a little bit more challenging because you're not at home. But at the same time, I think that's what makes it fun.
Yeah, you've got a point there. It's really good. I think a lot of it is with the mindset. That's probably the first thing I should fix, is the mindset. Let me ask a question on behalf of my friend in the chat. And my friend Jake is interested in the LA life, and me and him have like talked about living in Los Angeles a few times before. And you've spent some time there in the past. Like, what are your thoughts on living in Los Angeles? What do you like? What do you don't like?
I love Los Angeles. I think it's awesome. The people there are great. People there are like, it's very like inspiring place to be, a very motivating place to be. The women are obviously very attractive women. In terms of the downsides of LA, the traffic obviously is pretty bad. You have to pick your spot of town you live in wisely, I feel like. And, I don't know.
What's your favorite part of LA?
My favorite part of LA itself?
Yeah, because like when I say LA, I don't really mean like downtown. It's more like all over the place. Like I consider a place like Santa Monica to be, when I say LA, Santa Monica kind of fits my LA description.
That's all pretty much LA. Santa Monica, Venice Beach, West
Yeah,
Hollywood,
yes.
Hills.
Yeah. So what's your favorite?
All
What's
those
your
are
favorite
parts of
part?
LA.
What's your
My
favorite
favorite
part?
part is
Where is it?
Hollywood.
Oh, Hollywood. Oh, nice. Interesting. I think mine's definitely the beach, Santa Monica.
Yeah, I like
I like I like
I
the
mean, you
beach.
can't go wrong with Santa Monica, but something about Hollywood, kid. I like Hollywood there a lot.
Well, I think Hollywood House in the Hollywood Hills is in the plans for the future.
I wouldn't rule it out completely, but maybe we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Let's get some. We got some questions. So let me get some of these questions here. We got one from Jane Andes. How does the GTO point system game work? The GTO point system game works, Jane Andes, currently in beta stage. Is that there are different things right now? There's 7 different things you can do to accumulate points, and then you accumulate points, and then building a reward system right now for it. Right now, one of the rewards is going to be whoever beats me in the point system in a month, they get a free month of the club, which they're not going to fucking beat me, so they're not going to get a free month, but there's going to be points accumulation being able to be done, and you could spend those points in different things, maybe like a conversation with a Bill Perkins or some sort of getaway, maybe a date with Sam Abernathy. I'm not really sure what's going to be on the actual reward systems themselves. There'll be maybe some type of trips or some type of different things that I feel like incentivize people to further than it is. It's just like a bonus sort of feature. So right now with that, I'm just sort of building out the point system. I'm trying to figure out what should get points for what is the most beneficial thing for people to focus on doing that I want them to focus on doing. So tracking progress is a big thing. Holding other people accountable for things is a big thing. Holding yourself accountable is a big thing. Meditation, workout, getting in touch with me, talking about what you learned, thinking about what you learned. Those are things right now that I'm focusing on in terms of what I want other people to do. And that's what's getting points right now.
Yeah, I think maybe we should add a something to do with having more conversations with, because like one of the biggest values I find in the group is having like building relationships within the group itself. Obviously, I feel like the group has like 3 levels or like 3 layers. Like one of them is like direct relationship with you individually. One of them is like the whole group together, but then there's like mini relationships being built within the group itself. And I think there's definitely one of the biggest values I've gotten from the group, from the club, is friendships and relationships that I've built within the group itself, between with me and other people.
Yeah, I think that's bigger. That's something that people value more than others. And I think what's kind of hard is that a lot of people that are older in the group have grown up and they haven't had that in their life. Whereas when you're younger, you're used to having those friends in your teenage years that you conversate with that really help you become who you are. They help you you do things with them. You learn with them. You talk with them all the time. And what happens is as you get older, you get in your 20s, you get in your 30s, that becomes less of an existence for many, many people out there, especially introverted people or shy people. So what happens is 26 years old, you talk to maybe 1 or 2 people. The 1 or 2 people you talk to are your childhood friends that now they do something completely different. So what you're working at and what you're passionate about, you don't really get to discuss with them. And your girlfriend, she might do something else. You don't discuss with her what you're passionate about or what you're doing or what you're pursuing. So what happens is it's really hard to then all of a sudden just go outside of that and be like, okay, now I'm just going to fucking turn it on and talk to all these people. And I think that's kind of what we've been seeing with people in the group is that the younger guys are able to do that better. The older guys, it's just they're not used to doing that.
Yeah.
So they've been struggling with that a little bit more. And whereas they might see value in these other areas in terms of the content, in terms of the forums, in terms of the accountability, in terms of the one-on-one with me, in terms of maybe some of the group chat, they might, instead of the one-on-one personalized chat with other people in the group. So I feel like, yeah, everyone's just going to sort of value things differently. I think that's what's most important about it.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about this in the shower at the gym after my workout, about like what value there is from the GTO club. And that's how I broke it down, is I feel like, because like going back to the first thing we were talking about, which is caring about other people, and the way I said you care about others is by taking on their problems and trying to help them find a solution. And I feel like it's really nice having someone to go to who believes in you. At least, that's how I look at you as well. It's really nice knowing that there's always going to be, at any given moment of the day, I can go and talk to you, or go and talk to the people in the club, and they're a group of people who understand what I do and what I'm doing and believe in me. And I think that's huge, because I don't think it's not necessarily easy to do that. You just do that with the regular friends or regular people.
I mean, I agree. I think that's especially once again, kind of even as we get older, but I think a lot of people, even when they're younger, is that a lot of their friends don't really build them up. A lot of their friends are, fuck with them, or they talk shit, or they're negative, or they're complaining, or they're whatever. Like, they're not there in their life to build that person up and provide a good platform to grow with. And I think a lot of people are surrounded by those people all in their life, whether it's a partner or a friend or a family member or a coworker. So I think one big thing I've tried to do with the people I've let in is that I want to build an infrastructure where people are supportive of each other, no matter where they're at in their life. So you might have somebody like John, who is very successful at poker, very successful at what he's doing with business, but he's still going to be able to be supportive and be there for someone else who is still learning how to get better at poker, but has a career, or someone who's a lawyer, or somebody who does this, or someone who does that. So I think that's a very important thing for building as people, is to have those people around you to support you and to give you confidence in the things that you're doing, to give you information on the things that you're doing. So yeah, I mean, I believe in that element a lot. That's one of the biggest things I believe in right now with what I'm doing with this. Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people, it's what we do, like a lot of what the people in the group do is not necessarily considered to be conventional, right? I mean, wanting to quit your day job to become a poker player is not necessarily the most conventional thing. So I understand that a lot of people don't get it, but a great thing about the people in the GTO club is that a lot of people want to, they're interested in learning. So like, shout out to Royal, for example, who the other day I was having a conversation with him about video editing, and he said, like, listen, I don't necessarily understand what you're talking about, but I'm willing to go out there and try to learn more about video editing. So now next time we have a conversation, maybe I can help you out. Maybe I can, push back a little bit. Maybe I can, and isn't that awesome? Like, it's like coming to you with a problem. You say, listen, I don't know the answer, but I'm willing to find out. I'm willing to learn more about it. Like that's freaking awesome, man. That's pretty amazing.
I agree.
There's you who does that, and people in the group, and a group as a whole. Yeah, I think we've got a solid.
Time to start docking your pay, kid. Time to start taking your pay out of your salary, Poppy. What do you think?
Thought it was a bonus, Poppy.
It is a bonus. You're right. You know what? I haven't been factoring that in. Hold on a second. Wait a second.
No. Over and above bonus.
Okay.
Come on.
One more question from Krista in the chat. She says, would you consider offering a GTO Club Lite, more affordable version with less offering? Funny you should say that. Kristen. No, we definitely have had a brainstorm for a while about a phase 2 part of things. That's a smaller price point with less of an offering in terms of value. But I actually might go the other way, which is higher price point. So I think what it comes down to it is that, do you want to scale down? You want to scale it up a little bit in terms of the people in it, the more people you make a positive impact on, but change the type of content? Or do I want to go up in price point and double down on what I think the best content is, which isn't necessarily scalable? So the best features of the group, I feel like, aren't necessarily scalable down, and I can't really recreate as well, but I can recreate pretty good, but I might also go up too. So it's a spot that I've been thinking about a lot lately, and I'm not putting too much pressure on myself. I'm more focusing on the offering we have right now as the main thing.
I think it's, you could look at it from both sides, because I think adding more people does mean that there's more relationships to be built within the group, but then it's also more difficult for you to reach every single person.
Right. I mean, I think in that situation, you can't really go into it with the idea that, hey, if I have 100 people at $30 a month or $50 a month, that I'm going to be able to then be in touch and in depth
every day. Yeah.
It's just kind of impossible to do. So I think with that, it's more of a hands-off approach, where you provide content, you provide the infrastructure, you provide the gamification system, you provide a course or multiple courses in terms of bettering different things for people, and then it's more on them to do it, and you can build an accountability structure for them as well that might be able to guide them along too and help them out in situations. But that element of one-on-one to step in when someone's struggling or someone does need that, I feel like the one-on-one conversations with people sort of take away like a week or two of focus, is that you get a smart thing right away about something you've been struggling with for fucking 2 years maybe, or your whole entire life. So I think that is really important. And unfortunately, I don't think that really scales very well. I mean, definitely doesn't scale very well. You can't just do that. So that's the part I've been trying to figure out exactly, is how can that be implemented? What could that look like? And right now, there's nothing I really jumps out to me that I'd like it to be. So I haven't pursued that option.
Yeah. I think right now we're really focused on like having the system in place and like improving every aspect of the system for the GTO club as it is. And then I feel like once that's like locked in, we'll be able to make more decisions as to how we want to proceed in the future.
I agree, Poppy. Let's get some more shouts and let's wrap this up. Ruben Bahamanin, what's up, Puppy? Where's the mic? The mic's right here, buddy. Mic's right here. It's a different mic, my Rode mic. My buddy Grimstar in the chat. What's up, Grimmy? What's up, kid? Wizard's gonna whiz. I'll put on my Robin Wizard hat.
That's really good.
That's what I like to hear. Joe Watson, the Micro King. What up? Hashtag Micro King. Remember, guys, we got Doug Polk on yesterday. We got Luke Shorts on tomorrow, aka Full Flush, and we got the Hashtag King, Mr. Maybe an Offer I Could Not Refuse. He'll be on the podcast on Friday. You excited?
Yeah, man. I mean, I checked out when you asked me to make the schedule. I checked out some of his stuff and I was like, interesting. I'm definitely curious. I'm excited to see, because I mean, debatably, not your kind of person to have conversations with.
Right. Allegedly, it's an act, so we're gonna find out.
Oh, so it could be a bot?
Yeah, allegedly, is not how he actually is.
What does that mean?
It means that his character on social media is a character, but in real life, he's not like that.
Right. And did he say he's putting on his character, or is he coming on as a personal guy?
Listen, man, I hope he puts on a character, because I'm gonna fucking get through that character, Poppy. We're getting to the core, man. This is a therapeutic podcast. This is a fucking let's take a look in the mirror, Hashtag King, and let's figure things out with yourself, my friend.
Yeah. It's really interesting. Was the chat? I didn't follow the chat today. Was the chat cool, Poppy? Were they mean?
A couple people said that they think that we fuck each other, but besides that, I think it was pretty strong. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair assumption too. It's okay.
Yeah, fair assumption. You're right. Really fair assumption. I feel like the quality of this camera with this lighting is really strong.
Yeah. Did you switch back?
Yeah, I switched back. Yeah.
I was gonna say you're. Figure out, are you when you're leaving Los Angeles?
I'm not really sure.
Do you know when you're coming to Miami?
I'm not really sure as well about that either.
Yeah, because I mean now we hyped up the people about some content that we might create together. So kind of feel like you have to show up now.
Want to come say hello?
Who's this?
I have a friend just came in, Jonah. Do you want to come say hello? Or live right now? Yeah.
Hey.
We're live. Ebony Kenny in the house.
What's up, Ebony?
Hi, is this your wizard assistant?
This is my wizard assistant, Jonah.
Hi, Jonah.
Hi, how's it going?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
So you got it all set up? Were you able to move the Wi-Fi?
Yeah, I moved the Wi-Fi a little bit here.
Oh, good.
Yeah. How was your night?
It was good.
It was fun.
How was Joey as a guest?
Yeah.
How am I as a guest?
He's the worst.
What?
Does he clean up after himself?
The bed's made, everything's clean. What are you talking about? Of course I'm clean up.
He's doing better.
Okay.
Dang, man. I guess all those guys that said we fuck each other are I don't know. No, we don't fuck each other. No.
I haven't had sex in fucking forever. It's annoying.
If anyone's interested, she's looking. How long has it been, Ebony?
I'm posting a video today to say how long it is, not revealing it.
Okay.
If you guys want to find out how long it's been, you can go to my YouTube channel.
Nice.
What's your YouTube channel?
What's your YouTube channel? Kid. That was a classic CTA. You got anything else you want to say to the people, Jonah? Come here, Kat. You want to come up here?
Anything else I want to say to the people?
Yeah, anything else you want to say to the people?
No, man, I want to thank them for tuning in, and I want to thank you for having me on the podcast. I always enjoy having our conversations are always like my top conversation of the day. You always fire me up, and this is the I saw someone in the chat commented about sleep schedule and like a quick fix for sleep schedule. I got one answer for you. If you want to stay awake longer, you have a conversation with Joey, because Joey, now it's 11:30 p.m. It kind of feels like I've just woken up. After a conversation with Joey, I kind of feel I'm ready to go again. So there you go. Quick sleep schedule fix for you. Ebony, would you say that that's true, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're very.
Good.
He's like the hype man, the ultimate hype man.
Yeah.
When it's contagious. When you're done, you feel like you need to get shit done.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. That's why I always tell you, man, like you got to bring back those crazy Life of Joey vlogs for people to see the crazy grind.
We'll see. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Let's wrap it up, kid. Let's wrap it up. Guys in the chat, much love. If you watch this out there, let us know what you thought. On YouTube, on Twitter, you can check out Jonah on Twitter at Jonah Vella. You can check out Jonah on YouTube at Jonah Vella. You can check out my girl Ebony Kenny on YouTube at Ebony Kenny, I hope.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
You think?
Maybe.
Okay. That's it, guys. We'll be back tomorrow. If you like the podcast, let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know on Twitter. And I don't know. That's it. Jonah, I'll chat with you very shortly, my friend.
Much love. Much love. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. Ebony, it was great talking to you.
Nice
People
to
in the
meet
chat,
you.
thanks. Nice to meet you. Hopefully
How's
people in
everybody?
the chat were nice and kind. Appreciate that.
Everyone.